Oi, what you looking at, eh?
The little
Very
bird dog.
inquisitive.
Get out of my field!
Open its feathers up.
You think you're tough or something?
Oh, it's following. It's lovely. That's jokes.
I'll ruddy have you if you're not careful.
What he thinks he's doing.
I don't know.
Okay, warning lights are all out, T's and P's green, DI's aligned, carb heat's on auto, and 59 litres of fuel, and he's not about to take off, is he?
No, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. You clear off. And don't ruddy come back either. Flipping Rory on air. Who does he think he is?
Hello and welcome to another edition of Rory on Air. I'm here by the windsock at Leicester Airfield, and it's probably the last time you're going to see one of these in this video, because today we're off to do confined areas. This is one of my favourite lessons because I think it's kind of one of the main reasons why helicopters are so unique and so much fun to fly, because we can safely get in and out of some pretty tight spots that you wouldn't attempt in an aeroplane. So that's what I'm off to do today. Come and join me.
Readback correct. Hello Rory, good afternoon.
Hello there, good afternoon.
Famous.
Golf Whiskey is departing the circuit to the east. Call in return. Golf Whiskey, roger.
90%, everything's in the green, tail clear your side.
Tail's all clear.
Welcome back to the cockpit of one of Helicentre Aviation's Cabri G2 helicopters. Clearly there are different risks associated with off-airfield landings, so as you might expect, we have a comprehensive procedure to ensure each approach and departure is safe and legal. We've already carried out a detailed briefing on the ground, but now that we're airborne, it's over to me to do all the appropriate checks in the air. I'm flying under the watchful eye of instructor Claire today, and as we depart the Leicester zone, she's briefing me on the exact location of our first confined area.
Ah, I think I can see it.
Right,
So, you've got a big large forest here.
yeah.
Okay, and then you've got ahead of it, got a helicopter. Can you see it?
Visual,
Oh,
it's a
fixed wing,
fixed wing,
sorry,
yeah.
fixed wing. Right ahead.
Yeah, not a
Full
factor.
visual with them. We've got a little village and then a small wood just off to kind of the left-hand side of it.
The
So let's
radio
get ourselves
message
set
unreadable.
at a good height and get ourselves into an orbit.
Okay, well I'm going to come to the left so that I can make a right-hand turn, because
Yeah,
I want to
lovely.
be into wind.
And
I
also
want
then you'll
visual
have it on
my
your right-hand
yeah.
side. Yeah.
I'm going to do my power check.
The idea of the power check is to see how much available power we'll have in hand for the approach and departure in the conditions of the day. We slow to our best rate of climb speed of 50 knots and see how much power we need to pull to maintain straight and level flight. It's usually around 52%.
52% there.
Then we accelerate to max continuous power and see how much we have in hand. On a hot and humid day at high altitude or with a particularly heavy helicopter, we'll have considerably less power available than we do under today's favourable conditions.
So wind direction, we took off on, well, we would have taken off on 28 had we not done a commercial departure, so we're expecting the wind to be roughly westerly, so field probably favours coming in from,
When we looked earlier, the wind was between the west and the
Yeah.
south, wasn't it?
so I think we'll come in over the brown field in that direction with those two villages off on either right, so we've got that line of low level power cables
Yeah.
off the end of it. In the next field we've got those trees,
272 miles
so our
to the
run-on
southeast of the
option
airfield.
would be
Request settled
these
information to
power
rejoin.
fields in front. I'm happy it's big enough in length terms.
Helicentre 27,
There's a
good
bit of
afternoon.
bush, we've got an escape
Ready is
option
active on
there with
runway
the
28 with a left-hand circuit for road 3.
gap in between.
Good, so make sure-
1500 feet now. It slopes down a little bit, but nothing too excessive. We just have to watch the tail rotor, and I'm happy about no wires on the way in. Doesn't appear to be. There's some more wires down there, but they're not a factor.
So what sort of approach and departure are we going to do?
I think we'll do a normal approach in there because we haven't got anything really to obstruct us on the way in. There's a nice gap between even those very low level bushes, and
Yep.
they're much lower than what we're used to at home, so that's okay. So this is basically the downwind. So
Okay.
fuel is 92, radio we're going to talk in a second. Engine T's and P's are green, DI's aligned, altimeter is set to Q and H. And I'm going to turn in shortly and we're going to make a call saying Helicentre 13, currently about 4 miles to the east of Leicester, letting down at a private site, 2 POV.
Actually start descending down on the base leg.
Yeah.
Oh, looking all clear all around.
Yeah, good look for other aircraft. There isn't anything there. Keep the speed on. Right, still doesn't appear to be anything to be concerned about. Slightly quick, so we're going to slow it down a little bit. 45 knots. Reduce the descent rate as we reduce the speed. Still quite steep.
I don't particularly like the way this looks at this stage. You can almost hear my brain trying to arrive at a decision.
I could recover this, but I'm actually going to go for a go around.
Good choice. So try not to accelerate so we dip down too much, so bring lots of power in.
Yeah. Positive rate. So we have got those wires on the exit there, which are actually more of a concern when you get down low than they were before, but we've still got room for what we need to do.
Cool, right, I have control for a sec.
You've got control.
Cool, alright, so I think that was quite a good recce. Make sure you go through all of your 5S's, so make sure you talk in detail through each of them, so make sure you say size, shape, slope, all of those ones.
Okay.
I wasn't quite sure you covered quite all of them, but I think you did go through most of them.
I didn't do surface.
Surface, make sure you cover absolutely all of them. For the approach, make sure you are descending down on the base leg and don't turn in too early because I think we've potentially got a little bit steep there.
Yeah,
so just make sure you don't descend on the base leg and don't turn on final too early. So you want to be commercial but not overly kind of commercial to the sake of losing your kind of angle.
Understood.
Okay, right,
yeah.
let's just have another approach into that, so follow me through.
Okay, following you
Okay,
through.
so you have control.
I've got control. 500 feet a minute. Clear to the right, clear left, clear above. Coming round.
And then get yourself set up at the right speed on final as well. So don't turn on final really fast because that'll mean you need a higher rate of descent.
Yeah. Gone a little bit wide there, but that's recoverable.
That's fine.
500 feet a minute. Wind slightly from our right too as well.
That's a bit blind.
Okay, that's a bit better. So 500
Lovely.
feet a minute.
Cool, so let's do our final checks.
So there's no wires on the way in, and there's nobody in the field that I can see. There's no livestock, no vehicles. Everything's in the green, and I'm happy to continue. So 400 feet a minute, 40 knots. Just bringing the collective in a little bit to reduce the rate of descent, so that we don't end up in vortex ring.
Good.
Aft and right trim.
That's it. So we've got our bar check as well, so I'll just run through that while you concentrate. So speed, the ground speed is not looking excessively high.
Yeah.
Power, got a reasonable amount of power. Not got any cyclic in.
No, and the rate of descent is 300 feet a minute now.
That's it, don't just deepen it up, so try and keep bringing that speed back, keeping the rate of descent under control.
Still quite steep.
So watch the rate of descent, don't let it get out. We could
300.
probably make this one.
Got those trees off to our left, so I'm going to just keep it coming right a bit. 300 foot a minute. That's the translational lift. This is actually feeling okay.
Yeah, that's going alright.
300
Lots
feet
of
a
good
minute.
tail clearance on these trees, so
Yeah.
try and aim 2/3 of the way into the field.
Yeah. There's a bird there as well.
Yeah.
A couple of wood pigeons. Tail's going to be clear. Tail clear that side. 200 feet a minute. Descent rate's within limits. Well forward of the trees. I'm aiming for the far side of this grassy bit with the longer grass.
Good, so I think you turned on final a lot better height.
Yeah.
Just don't let it steepen up, so keep bringing the speed back and things like that so it doesn't end up getting steeper. I just need to make those final approach checks a little bit clearer.
Yeah.
So making sure that all the spar checks are really clear that you're kind of doing speed, out cyclic, and then stating you're doing the low recon. So you definitely did it, just say, right, low recon. So just making it really clear to your examiner that that's kind of what you're doing.
Okay.
Right, let's get ourselves out of here.
Okay, so getting out then, I don't turn the tail towards the slope, so tail's clear to the right on the
Yeah,
down
lovely.
slope.
All clear.
Okay, it's clear behind and to the right. So we're going to come back up. We're using 88% power with all this long grass.
Yeah, and the slope as well.
Yeah, and quite a high hover too, because I don't want to take the mickey.
So potentially we might be better off going for that corner, because if we turn the tail kind of up there, then it's quite sloping up that way, whereas it's sloping down that side.
Yeah. Come round that way. High enough that we're not going to biff that there.
Okay, so let's find the clearest route out again.
So the clearest route out then is going to be straight between those trees. Tail's still clear, warning lights are all out, T's and P's in the green, DI's aligned. Car beats on auto, 86 litres of fuel.
Okay, let's have a really good look out. All clear, all round and above.
Yeah.
As you can see, there are a lot of checks to be completed and things to continually consider, but for me that's partly what makes flying a helicopter in scenarios like this so enjoyable and rewarding.
Good try building that speed up as long as you can keep the positive rate.
Yeah.
Try not to come towards that farm building if you can.
There's 45 coming up.
Good. Alright, so actually I think you control the tail really well in there because we have that slope. Let's just try and stay away from these
Yeah, I was
villages.
just going to go for this gap for the climb here.
Just have to watch out for this power line.
Yeah, not visual. I'm going to go over the top of the pylon because I can see that.
Yep, good. So our next confined area is a little bit to the north.
Okay.
Kind of direct you, but we're going to need to start
Go around
coming
the back
around to the right.
Yeah, go behind the village.
I think it's potentially northeast from here. And then it's just a case of setting up, so getting the right speed.
Now in a new area, I've done my power check again, thoroughly assessed the landing site and completed my downwind FreeDAT check. I'm now turning on to final.
Right, there we go. 60 knots, 500 feet a minute. In trim. Right, spar check. Speed. Airspeed's 52 and we're definitely not doing that on the ground speed. Power I'm using 42%, that's sensible. Got plenty of aft cyclic authority and the rate of descent is 400 feet a minute. I'm happy with that. We'll just keep to the left a bit just to keep away from those tractors. 40 knots, 500 feet a minute, so I'm going to start slowing down, bringing in the collective 300 feet a minute there now. Descent rates, okay, I'm happy with that.
Also, what other checks do we need to do?
So final approach checks, we want to make sure it's empty, there isn't anybody visual in it. Last look for wires and obstacles, can't see anything. 300 feet a minute descent rate. Sight's clear and our exit options are clear and a good look around, can't see anybody aircraft wise. 300 foot a minute, 30 knots are approaching there. We're going for about midfield. Right, 300 feet a minute, 200 feet a minute, 60% power. Tail's clear, that tree's well away. 200 feet a minute. I don't want to go too far down the hill, 100 feet a minute. Tail's clear both sides.
Good, I think that was a much better angle on the approach that time. You set up better, you had a good speed. Essentially just a tiny bit fast kind of turning on, but you slowed it down then quite nicely. Make sure you make really clear, you were much clearer about your spar checks that time, but make sure you're really clear you're doing the low recon. So say low recon, look for wires, look at your angle, that sort of thing, to make it really clear that you are doing. Right, let's get out of here.
Okay, so we're clear to the right to turn the tail.
Good.
There's something about being able to hover taxi sideways like this that I think is just so cool. I absolutely love it.
Oh, this is so cool.
It's good, isn't it?
It's amazing.
This is why we fly helicopters.
Exactly, you can't do this in a PA-28.
Well, if you did, I'd be worried.
It starts to slope back down again, so I'm not turning the tail towards the slope as long as I keep it here.
Yeah, it is a bit sloping upwards on the way out, so we'll just have to bear that in mind.
Yeah. Okay, so warning lights are all out, T's and P's are in the green, we are using a fair bit of power, 90%-ish, carb heat's on auto. Making use of that power available while we're under 30 knots.
Good.
Going for the gaps between the trees. Got a positive rate, 500 feet a minute.
Oh, lovely. Okay, so we're looking all clear around. If we can, we'll start heading off towards the north.
We've now moved to another potential landing site. This one is smaller and surrounded by tall trees, so it's a bit more challenging.
We want to come in approaching along the side of the trees and then sort of sidestep left into it with these fields down here as our escape option so that we're not right over the top of the forest. Right, size it's big enough, shape it's sensible, slope does upslope to the left, surface looks okay, and surroundings forest off to the left of it. So we're at 50 knots, I'll get the descent rate to where it should be, we'll do the power check while we're here. 54%. Pull all the way up to the bottom. Got power in hand, so 72 litres of fuel, radio heli centre 13, letting down at a private site about 8 miles to the northeast of the airfield, 2 POB, 1600 feet, that's about where we want to be. Come round the back of these buildings, so as to give myself plenty of space and not overfly them. Altimeter is set to QNH, trim and transponder I'm happy with. So we've got speed is 60 knots, ground speed's less than that, power we're using 46%, that's sensible. Half cyclic, plenty of authority, rate of descent is 300 feet a minute within limits. This approach speed and profile seems a bit more sensible. Can't see the site yet because it's behind the trees.
Don't steepen it up here. Coming down.
Don't want to be too low over the trees because...
That's alright, we're looking fine here.
Right, so there's no sheep in the field we're going for. I can't see any people, can't see any wires. Options off to our right if we want to abort. 200 feet a minute descent rate. I'm going to come in over these lower trees here and then step off to the left. 200 feet a minute. Feet a minute. Now coming to the left. Over these lower trees, 200 feet a minute. Power coming in, 70%. Aiming for 2/3 up the field, tails clear, wind coming in off the trees. Tail clear behind, tail clear your side, clear in front.
Good. That was a much better approach profile there. You know, you took a good kind of angle coming round in from the west. I'd also considered coming in from the north, kind of approaching kind of in the south direction, because the wind's not too strong, so we could have kind of just come in from the south as well. Yeah, much better. You didn't kind of let it steepen up. Okay, right, let's get out of here.
I hope you've enjoyed riding along with Claire and I as I try to improve my confined areas technique. I'd love to know what you think of the video, so please do comment, like and share. And stay tuned to the end of this video to see a nice old warbird as well.
Positive rate. Now getting some speed.
Helicopter 29, entering the zone from the east to join 2A left hand.
Well, if we just pop it here, that'll give us lots of room to bring the fuel barrels back round.
210 degrees, 9 knots.
And here we are back at base outside the Helicentre Aviation hangar at Leicester Airfield. I am sorry it's been so long since I last posted a video, but I've been concentrating on revising for my last 4 ATPL exams, which I hope to sit in the next 6 weeks or so. In many ways, my life at the moment is a bit like flying a helicopter. a constant juggling act.
Well, that was interesting.
Yeah.
Found that more difficult than I thought I would.
That's
Having
all
done
right.
it before, I mean, I think there was improvement, but I just
Yeah.
feel
There's a lot going on, isn't there?
yeah, there's quite a lot of things to do at once.
Well, that's me back from another dual flight, this time with Claire in the Cabri G2. We went off and did some confined areas today, which is the second time that I've done a full confined areas lesson, and it is one of the most fun ones, I think anyway, mainly just because it's what helicopters are kind of for, getting into tight spots and unusual places and not being constricted to using runways and taxiways and all the rest of it. Obviously you might have seen one of my previous videos where I discussed why we use runways and taxiways generally to enhance safety, and that is true. But we can also obviously do vertical departures and vertical arrivals into small fields and clearings and all sorts of things, and we practice that, and that's what I was doing today. So that was really good fun, and you know, an excellent experience. Lots of things picked up on by Claire that I need to work on, which is always good, and lots of things to think about. So I'll go away and mull that over and obviously have a look at this video and see what I can pick up from it, as one of my colleagues is shutting down over there. I think that's Harry, just shutting down, having been out with James, and Max is off out on a trip as well. So it's another busy evening here at Leicester Airfield, starting to feel a little bit closer towards the back end of the year now, but great fun, and lovely to be out flying on a nice September afternoon. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment, all that usual good stuff, and I'll see you on the next edition of Rory on Air. Cheerio.